Welcome back to another episode of the Final Cast with your hosts, Matt.
Brad.
Brad, how are you today?
I'm doing God.
Oh God, that was weird. Okay, I just lost all train of thought because
That was the point.
Came out. I know.
Satan. We got some bad news for you guys tonight. I'm just joking. We don't.
Well,
Ow.
well, we'll leave that. We'll shelf that for a little bit. So, Brad, you've had an eventful day because you were off today, a rare Friday off. You went fishing a little bit. How'd it go?
Not good. I had a half day yesterday too. It was a slow week at work, so I had like Monday today, half Thursday, and all of today off. I went fishing today. Only caught 2 fish. It was like 89 degrees, but the humidity was 26% and it was windy, so it didn't feel that bad. But I only caught 2 fish, and it was tough out there. Man, it was tough.
Yeah, it's a swing. I mean, this week has been like really hot. Now, next week it's going back into like the 70s and low 80s. So, I mean, I feel like they're going to be a lot more on fire next week. But it's just so hot right now.
I hope so, because, oh, dude, I threw literally the 3 times that I fished this week, I threw everything at them. Like today and Tuesday, I threw everything at them. So I got a hit on top water, lost the fish. I was throwing the evergreen shower blows, through the tube, through the chatterbait, through the naked seeker with the Dubrow swim bait, through a Ned rig. Tried the J Bros Jester on the Ned rig.
Yep.
That didn't even work. I caught one on a regular TRD on a Ned rig, real tiny thing, like 6 inches. But crankbait. Finesse jig. I caught one on the Hoots Jigs finesse jig that I got out of the DarkHorse box.
It's always the finesse jig is where it's at. Also, before we go too far into this, thanks to our sponsor, DarkHorse Tackle, the best subscription box that you can get on the market. Use Final Cast 5 off for $5 off your first monthly subscription to the Weekend Warrior box. Fantastic box. I've got that Hoots jig tied on. I'm pumped to throw that.
It's cool jig.
It looks awesome. I'm excited to throw it, leaving the comfort zone a little bit because I usually throw the Jig Masters.
Yeah. It's a lot smaller than the Jig Master one.
Well, it's a proper finesse jig. Like when you think finesse jig, you think small, tiny jig.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pumped to throw it.
Yeah. But yeah, I went a few hours before catching a fish, and that was the one that hit first.
Oh man, that sucks.
What else?
It's got to be the weather. It just is what it is.
Yeah, well, and it's post spawn too. Like every spot that I went to, I threw the fluke a lot too. And to top it off, I've been throwing the stupid dark corner glide bait lately. Nothing else was working, so I was like, I might as well just throw this to see if I can catch something. That didn't even work. So, yeah. What was I saying before that? Oh, it's
I couldn't tell you.
Post spawn. Every spot that I went to was like, I could see the bottom, like the water's clearing up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
No fish in sight other than red horse suckers and carp everywhere. In all the spots where we catch smallmouth.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Just gross.
I was like, where did all the smallmouth go? This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean they're hunkered down and recovering from spawning right now, and I don't know. I still haven't been able to find a good post spawn spot. Like they'll start moving back into other places we fish here in like a week or two. But I want to know where they're going during post spawn in our stretches that we fish, because they've got to be there. They're not swimming 20 miles south or north. They're there still. I just don't know where they're at.
Yeah, like I even was casting mid river, the stretch that I fished today that you know of. There's big boulders in the middle of the river. I was casting at every one of those boulders, thinking one might be just sitting there chilling, like recovering, like you said. Nothing.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird pattern. This is always a tough time of year. I think last year we got so frustrated at one point we went and started chasing greenfish just because we knew they'd bite. I'm pretty sure it was around this time last year and we just started going to greenfish. That and the river is blown out because last year was a lot wetter than it is now. But
it's weird though. Also, like the river right now it's clear, but the water is like still stained. I don't know.
It's Dayton.
It's weird, dude. I don't know what's going on right now. It's just weird.
People poop in it, so try that. It's nasty.
Dang on hobos.
No, it's just the hobos and crackheads, man. Hobos and crackheads. And surprisingly, they're not the same thing. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's something I need to learn post-spawn recovery.
Oh, I thought you were saying to be a hobo. I was like, well.
Oh no. Well, that and summer fishing. I suck at summer fishing, man. Justin's good at it. I suck at it.
Yeah, Justin's really good at it. I'm not like last year. I could not catch fish. Like whenever we went out, I think I got skunked one time, and it was right after a rain. We were at the GC, and I got skunked. But you got skunked the same. Like neither of us caught fish that day, and the water was way up, and we were like half the time we just had the boats tied to our belts because it was moving so fast. But yeah, summer fishing, I don't know, man. That Jig Masters finesse jig got me through the summer last year because if nothing else worked, I just threw that and never caught everything. It's great.
Yeah, I think I started putting together a pattern last year during the summer. It was more towards July. So I talked to Josh Shrinko because I was struggling last year, and he said heads and tails of pools in the mornings and the evenings, and then in between, like if you find laydowns that are shaded in areas and deeper, that's where they'll hang out during the day.
And that's where I was catching most of my fish off that finesse jig, was just tossing into laydowns midday in shade.
Yeah.
And it was like you could fish a laydown in the sun all you wanted. There's nothing there. If there was something there, they weren't biting. But you go right across, literally 30 yards the opposite way, and there's a laydown in the shade. There's 4 or 5 fish sitting on it.
Yeah.
So
my buddy Will, he's real good at fishing heads and tails of pools. Me, not so much. I don't know what the deal is.
It's not my forte. That's something I need to work on this summer.
Like I don't like fishing shallow. And when you're fishing heads of pools, it's usually like the riffles. It's shallow. Sometimes you can get like deep tails of pools, but most of the time on our river they're shallow.
Yeah, it's just weird, but it's something we can work on and try to get better at.
Yep.
So on this week's episode, we're going to talk about tackle storage options that we use while we're in the boats or while we're bank fishing, things along those lines. There's a plethora of options, 47 bajillion different companies you can buy tackle boxes and bags from. But we're going to kind of talk about the system that we use. It's taken a while to where I'm starting to finally get comfortable with what I'm using. Brad's been comfortable with what he's using. So we're just going to kind of dive into it. Brad, you want to start? You want me to start?
I want to hear about your bag, your new seat bag that you have.
Yep, that's immediately the first thing I'm going to go into. So Bonafide Fishing came out with a seat bag. They came out with a seat bag and a backpack. And I can't say enough about the seat bag. The backpack it's not bad. It's just a backpack, though. It's nothing like special. You
got it pulled up so you can screen share?
That's what I'm doing right now.
Sweet.
I should have had it ready, but I'll be honest, I didn't. So
I'm kind of interested in checking this one out just because I have the Yak Gadget seat bag, and it does its job, but there's a lot of compartments on this one. It's interesting.
There are. So this is the sideline bag. It's a little pricey. It's $90, but it is fantastic. So right on this bag, you can use it as a bank bag, which I typically do, because you have the sling there. And right on here on the back, let's see if I can get the zoom in. So there's these 2 clips on each side, right there and then right there. And it is designed to clip on the back of a Bonafide or any seat. As you can see here, it's clipped right to it. So it stays there. I mean, it stays there good. I mean, I trailer my kayak, and it hasn't left my boat since I put it on. other than when I'm like, if I leave the boat, like if we're traveling or something and it's out in an area I don't really know, then yeah, I'll take it off just because I don't want somebody to just come over, pop it off and steal it.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm not a huge fan of, I still, for whatever reason, cannot use 3,500 size boxes. It just bugs me because they're so small.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a catch-22. If you use a 3,700 box to go bigger, it's got to be bulkier. But so what I use for mine, I put my, excuse me, I put my boxes under the seat or in my battery box in the rear, which is where it's at right now. Side note, Brad got my Marinco plug, so we can get that wired up. And I put them back there. So in this compartment where you see these two 3,500 boxes, which it does come with boxes, they're branded as bonafide. They're kind of cool.
You gave those to me.
Yep, I'll say Brad's got them because I just can't do 3,500 boxes. But they're nice boxes. Like, don't get me wrong, they're not super thin like the Plano thins, but they're your standard tackle box with a waterproof ring on the inside, so water's not going to get in it. But I use this section for plastics. For the longest time, I was using like a money bag from Bass Mafia, one of those big clear bags for all my plastics. And I found when I have that much storage, I bring too much stuff. It's just how it is. I see all the space, and I'm like, I'm going to fill that with as much crap as I can. And then I just bring too much, and then I'm annoyed when I'm on the water because I can't find what I want because it's all in there. So in the back of this, I can fit, I want to say I have 15 packs of plastics in there. So I still have a ton in there. But it's kind of forced me to bring like colors I know is going to work, and then a variety of shapes and sizes for different situations and scenarios. But I mean, I'm a huge fan of it. It holds everything perfectly. You can get it nice and organized. And then Brad's he talked about all the storage options. So it's got a front pocket here, which it's a smaller pocket, but it's good if you want to put a cell phone, if you want to put your wallet, stuff back there, you can put it back there. It's got a side zipper pocket here, which is a fairly large pocket, and it goes all the way down. And then it's got a place for your pliers right on the front, which is awesome because they're out of the way. They're not like I don't have to go digging for them. And it has a clip for a retainer. So I can go back and I have them on a rogue strap, unstrap them with this hand, pull them out, do what I need to do with the fish, and then go back and find it. I just use my finger, find it, push it in, and then put the strap bug over it, and it's good to go.
So yeah, they kind of made it for both kayaking and wade fishing because that'd be a nice thing to just keep on your back.
Oh, exactly. Like this bag is way more than just a kayak accessory. You can use it for just about everything. I want to see if I can get a picture of the other side too.
Is that the one that has the rod holder on it, or is that the boat bag?
I believe that's the boat bag. I'm being honest, this might have a rod holder on it. I haven't done a ton of searching on it yet. It also has this large front pocket right here, which it's big enough to where I put my boat registration in it. I put a couple packs of hooks, another spool of line for leader material, things along those lines. I have an extra pair of scissors and some sunscreen and bug spray in there. And then it has a water bottle holder that is big enough to fit a standard Nalgene, which is awesome.
More people need to do that. I was just thinking about that when I was on my kayak the other day. Like, there's nowhere to put an Nalgene bottle because kayak companies do not mold their kayaks big enough for a water Nalgene bottle, and it drives me nuts.
It's like they mold them for this, or like the old school skinny bottles, or a can. Which if you want to drink and be on the water, you do whatever you want to do. I think it's stupid, but you do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to argue with you. But a lot of guys, especially like us, we're going out for multiple hours. One single water bottle, or even two, that's just something else I got to put somewhere to get to while I'm on the water.
Yeah.
To get me 32 ounces of water, or I can just bring a Nalgene that gets me 64 and it can still live there the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Drives me nuts. I got that. You've seen my gallon water bottle that I bring with me. That's even harder to put. I don't know where to put that thing.
Well, yeah, that thing's a tank. Whenever we're driving anywhere, it rolls around my front seat and dents my interior. Thing's insane.
Hey, but I drink that. I drink one of those every day.
Well, I mean, that's great. I'm happy that you're healthy, but it's beating up my front seat. But no, this bag is I'm a huge fan. I just added this to the system beginning of the year because that's when they launched. They kind of teased them at iCast, and then they teased them a lot. I'm on Team Bonafide, so I got little glimpses here and there, and I got to see them before they came out. And the second I saw them, I ordered this one and the backpack. Which, like I said, the backpack's cool. I can bring that up too. It's a cool design. The colors and how they look are awesome, and they look really cool. This fits a Nalgene on it. It has the same pliers on the back. There's no way to hook this to the seat. If you could hook it to the seat, it'd be even cooler. But
Yeah. Probably
these
two
use
for it.
yeah, but this used 36 boxes. You can get 3 of them in there, which 36 is the smallest that I can deal with. I use this for bank fishing sometimes, or just keeping in the truck. The only thing I wish, and this is just me saying this, I wish this sideline bag, which is the backpack, which we're looking at right now, I wish I had a spot for a laptop, just because, like, I'm going to use this bag when I travel, especially if I'm going on a plane. So I want to bring my laptop with me. It's got plenty of pockets for everything else, but it doesn't have a laptop sleeve, which, again, it wasn't designed to do that. But I wish it had that, because if it did that, this would be the only backpack I'd ever use, period.
Yeah, heck, if it had a laptop sleeve, you could pull it out while you're wade fishing and check your Facebook.
I mean, there you go. I mean, they haven't invented these things called phones yet, but no. But I mean, just thinking, because when I got it, it's intention, which I can get a laptop to fit in there, but I can't have the box. I can, but it'll scratch my laptop up, and that just annoys me. But my thought process was, this is going to be the travel bag. Sometimes for work, I'll travel to other states, and I'll have a couple days to fish here and there. And it would be nice to be able to take this with me. I have a St. Croix travel rod that I could bring with me, and just have everything I need right here. I could put a reel in there if I'm, traveling by plane. I can put a reel in there. I can get my whole setup, and then 3 boxes plus some plastics, and then have all my other pockets. But it doesn't have that laptop sleeve, so that's the only thing. If it had that, winner chicken dinner, but it doesn't. So
yeah,
that's the only con that I found. Other than that, it's a good backpack that Nalgene fits in it, which is, again, a big plus, because a lot of backpacks don't have that feature. They always make them too skinny or not deep enough or whatever. So
how much is that backpack?
So the backpack, the only other con to it is the price. The backpack is $139.
Well, that's actually not bad compared to some other backpacks on the market.
It's not. It's the one I would compare it to would be Plano makes the Guide series backpacks, which are nice.
Seen that one.
Yeah, that one's, it's about the same price. It's not. I'm not saying the price is bad market wise, and it's a good backpack. It just irks me sometimes paying so much for stuff now. That's just me.
Yeah.
Growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, when you can get stuff and not like go to the bread lines right after. But
yeah,
that's just me. It's a really good backpack though. It's Cabela sells a backpack that is comparable to it, and it's about the same price. So market share wise, yeah, it's fine. It's right in that price point. The sideline bag, the sling bag, this is, like I said, it's $89, but I think it's 100% worth it. In my opinion. I've never had an issue with it. I like it. It does everything I need it to do. And it's just overall nice. I'm just a fan of it.
Does the bottom of the bag clip to the seat too?
So it does not. That does have a strap. It doesn't clip to the seat, but it does have a strap you can put around the bottom of the seat, so you can kind of tighten it on there. But what I do, so they have it showing, the biggest tip I'll say with this, get the bag for sure. They have the clips up here, so it's really high on the seat, which works. And I didn't get a whole lot of like bouncing movement or anything, but if you move these clips all the way down here and all the way down here, the bag slumps a little bit and kind of sits, at least in the RVR and the P127, it kind of sits a little bit lower, and the bottom can't move because it kind of gets into like a little cubby.
Yeah.
And it works really well. I mean, I'm a fan of it. When it's up that high, you don't feel the clips when you lean back or anything, but I just like it being a little bit lower. I feel like it's more secure. And I also don't use that bottom strap just because sometimes I just want to clip the bag off and go. I don't want to have to unclip stuff and do all that. I just 2 pull tabs and you're done and you're on your way.
Hey, you're starting to learn, man.
Yep. Slowly but surely. I just need to. Once I get the battery up front, man, it'll be down to. I'm ordering. We'll talk about that. I mean, we can talk about that right now. We can go right into it. But I'm going to order this if I can get my computer to not be psycho.
It's nice though, because like the less that you can set up before you get on the water and after you get off the water makes your trip so much better. Because I know there's times where you're still setting up and I'm already like ready to go. I'm like,
well, all I had to do was
take my rod. Yeah, I already took my rod sleeves off, put my paddle in, put my net down, hook the battery up, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, which is, I mean, you're not wrong. That's the biggest thing I've had to learn, especially because whenever you go anywhere, even if you're bank fishing, dude, your heart's racing, you're ready to get your rods and get out there and just go. So you had a great idea with transporting because we transport with our Newports on our boats, and they like to bounce around, which is why I have lost my lift line. It's sheared away because it was bouncing around so much when I was on the highway. But we have an NRS strap on it so we can literally travel with it back there and never have to take it out. But one thing I've found is what takes me the longest. I have all my rods in a Yakima rod box, which I'm fine with suffering the extra 5 minutes to get those out because I feel confident with those being in there. I can keep them with me all the time. It's getting like my battery box out and getting my tackle boxes and getting, so I've got to the point I just leave it all in there.
Yeah.
But I actually just ordered this, which this is a Bonafide's kind of right on it. And other companies, Yak Gadget has made stuff for other boats, but this is for the RVR, and it's a 4 for 3,600 boxes right underneath the seat. I have one for the P127 and I like it, and I can get it to work on the RVR, but it's a little kind of cramped because it's made for a wider seat and a wider boat. They made it for this one, and I am pumped for that. I've already got 4 3,600 boxes. They'll go right in there and they'll live there. They'll be my 4 river boxes. They'll never come out unless I have to restock them, and we're good to go.
Yeah, that's nice. And you also have that strap on the RVR to where you can put your rod butts under the seat, that storage seat, and you can strap your rods in like I do on the deck.
I can, yeah, and that's definitely something what I'll probably end up doing. So in my neighborhood, we've had there's basically a group of teenagers who are going around trying to open people's doors all day. So I can't have my rods on my boat the night before, which is what I would want to do. But what I'm probably going to start doing is just get up 10 minutes earlier so I can take that 10 minutes, open my rod box, get the rods I'm going to use that day and put them on there. So when I get there, the joy of the sidekicks, which are the boondocks for the Bonafides, all I got to do is put my life jacket on, get my paddle, and I'm off. Because now that I have the Marineco plug, my battery will be in the front. It's just putting it in there, strapping it in, and it's dropping the sidekicks and going right down in the water. There'll be no setting up. There'll be no taking the time to get it done.
Yeah.
Bing, bam, boom, over.
Yeah. Yeah. I think once you get that set up perfected, you'll be like, this is awesome.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm going to get on the water quicker and not be so – because sometimes I get frustrated just getting my stuff and having to move stuff. My back seat's like a apartment for most people because it's full of crap. So
it is crazy. It's like a mountain of junk.
It's a mountain of tackle and paddles and other stuff. But yeah, this is really cool that they made this to go underneath there. It kind of just simplifies it, and it goes more into that RVR river kayak to where you have your boxes there. It's all contained. And the plus with this, it's a little bit smaller than the one for the P127, so you still have room to get your rod butts under there and your catch board, which goes right there. So
yeah, that's cool.
It works out really well.
That is cool. I like that. I can't do that. Well,
I don't know. When I get this one, I'm gonna try it on your crescent and see if it fits. Because if it fits, throw it right on there and call it a day.
Yeah, it's just like the legs on the crescent are kind of weird because they're U-shaped.
Okay.
So I don't know.
These are just Velcro.
But it would be cool to have at least like two boxes going to the seat. Because right now I have the two 3,500 boxes I take on the river with me, I started putting them in that little bungee on the sides of the seat. It's kind of a pain because I have the Yak Gadget rod stagers right there, but I don't know. I kind of power through it, I guess, just because I like the boxes being right beside me instead of in my seat bag, because that's kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, that's one reason why I didn't even play around with using those 3,500s is because whenever I have a Yak Gadget box behind me, fantastic boxes. I'm not dogging it at all. But I put my battery in there and I have the smaller box because I'm forcing myself not to bring my big box where I can get, 7 thin tackle boxes plus my battery. So it's forced me to kind of focus in on what I want to bring.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate having to turn around, especially on the river. On lakes, it doesn't bother me. I'm not moving a whole lot. I'm not having to fight current. I can just kind of bob there for a second, get what I need. But on rivers, a lot of the times there's not a whole lot of spots you can just stop.
Yeah.
And kind of not pay attention to what you're doing. And when I turn around, it's constantly doing this. I'm turning around and I'm looking back and turning around and looking back. And I always tend to need something right before a riffle. And I'm like having to do that crap. And man, it's annoying. So, yeah, having the boxes underneath to where I can still focus and just use a hand. I don't even have to look down and just pull a tab. I know these two are terminal and these two are blah, blah, blah. And I can just pull out what box I need, pull it up, put it right in my lap, do what I need to do, and then put it right back under and call it a day.
It's funny you mentioned that because I did that today. Right before a riffle, I had to get back in my seat bag because it took me a few minutes to cut and retie a couple of rods. And I was trying to started putting my soft plastics in the Yak Gadget bag on the back of my seat. So I was trying to get back in there to find the plastic, and I couldn't do it, so I had to turn around, and then I ended up hitting the riffle backward. My motor was going.
Oh man!
And I said, "Mother."
Any way to simplify the process is what I really care about, what I want to do, and that's the focus this year. Really narrowing down to bringing 4 3,600 boxes in those containers, and then my soft plastics in the bonafide bag, and calling it a day. I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah, I need to find those. You mentioned Dave Omer did this on his kayak. He had those little pieces to where you ran the lines through. I still need to get a cleat for mine, and I believe that line, that thing you run the line through, it has a cleat on it too. I still don't remember what they're called.
Are you talking about the things I told are on the back of the boat and the front of the boat that are like those angled pieces?
Yeah.
I need to actually, I'll just message him right after this and ask him because I want to do those too. I want to put all my lines internal just to help. To me, that also goes towards storage.
Oh yeah,
getting
definitely.
your lines, your lift lines, like with the Newport lift line, anti-reverse line. If you get that all internal in the boat and not have to worry about anything being out there, you're not going to get anything stuck on anything.
Yeah,
which is what matters. So,
because that's another gripe I have especially with the motor, is like the lift line and the reverse line. I'm like, man, they get in the way. They get tangled. I actually had my knob go through the scupper hole. So when I was fishing on Tuesday, all you could hear on the bottom of my kayak was a little ball going.
Yeah.
When my motor was at like 80% throttle, I was like, what is doing that? Finally, I got out and I saw it was the stupid handle.
And what also the thing with that is that leads to vibration and sound in the water, which will push fish away.
Exactly.
Yep. So, nuts, man. And it drives you nuts. So yeah, I mean, it's line management's also a thing. And there's plenty of products out there. We need to find out actually what that is. And your setup's never, I'll say it is never 100% done. There's always gonna be stuff you'll change or want to move around, or, oh, well, I put all the lines internal, but I want it to come out here instead of here. And you patch holes and re-drill and all that fun crap. So
I've almost been fishing or kayak fishing for 10 years. And like I've some things like I continue to use as I learn, but there's still times where I'm moving that there, or I'm moving this here. And what I'm getting to know, like what I'm starting to realize now is my phone mount. So I always thought my phone mount in the front of me, sticking straight up, would be the best spot for it. It's not, because it gets in the way of me using the evergreen shower blows or the jerk bait or any fluke, where I have to smack the rod like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was actually, it's funny you bring that up because in the P127, it's always been on the left-hand side. That's where I put my phone. But on the RS, when I had the RS, it was in the middle, kind of like what you're talking about. And I thought the same thing. And typically, whenever I do a motion bait or something, I'm having to move, I'll stand up. But a lot of times you can't, and I found it was in the way. But in the RVR, I'm doing the same thing. Phone's going right there in the middle. And what's negative about that is it impacts me using the catchboard recess underneath my seat going out. The catchboard keeps hitting the phone mount. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm moving it another side, trying to figure out. And that's going to bring me down to, I probably won't bring a second set of rod stagers. I've got 2 rod stagers on there to where I can hold 3 and 2 more rods, 5 rods total.
Yeah.
And I really got to shape it up and just maybe bring 4 rods, 3 in the stagers, 1 on the deck, and put my phone mount on the other side.
Yeah, then you got to worry about where you're putting your paddle too.
Yep. So, I mean, a lot of it goes into it, and it's all trial and error. It's going out and saying, well, this doesn't work. I need to fix this. And this doesn't work. I need to fix this. Stuff like that.
Yeah. But, I don't know. The biggest thing for me right now is definitely the lines. We'll see. Find out those pieces, and I might do that too. So
I'll do it right this second.
That's a good idea.
Yep. While I'm thinking about it, because if I don't, I'll forget. But Brad, kind of walk us through, because I've done the back seat storage and under seat storage. Kind of walk us through what you do for your back storage. You've kind of talked about it a little bit, but
yeah, just a little bit.
Go in depth a little bit with it.
I got the Yak Gadget seat bag. I believe it's the small. No, it's the big one, right?
It's the big one. Yeah, you got the 3700 size.
Okay, but I use it. I did use it for 3500 boxes until recently. Like I said, I moved those to the side with the bungees that Crescent has on the shoalie. Started putting my soft plastics. Like I have a very limited selection of soft plastics I like to bring on the river. Like I know what I like to throw when it comes to soft plastics. So I put all that stuff in the bag. I'll have scissors back there. Pliers are in there. Extra leader lines in there. I don't bring extra floor or anything. So if I screw up a reel or something, I'm just out of luck. But usually carry 4 rods. Actually, today I brought 5. Usually I carry 4 though, 2 on each side for my Yak Gadget rod stagers, and then seat bag. Oh, yeah, seat bag. So the Yak Gadget seat bag, it's nice, but I wish there's something about it, like the way it shuts. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that Velcro. Like I liked the bag. It was big enough to put everything you need to put in there.
Yeah.
But I think it would be better if it was a zipper bag, which I understand why the cost would go up, and I get where he's coming from. He wants to make something affordable, which is awesome. I'm all about that. All of Yak Gadget stuff. This isn't a dig at it at all. All of everything he makes is 9 times out of 10. It is a 10 out of 10. But the Velcro just I don't know. It just seems like it doesn't hold it straight. It really kind of cavitates in the middle to where there's an open.
Yeah. Once you put your boxes in there, it's like the weight of the bottom of the bag separates from the Velcro, and it just doesn't shut right. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know, but that's why I kind of want to look at the bonafide thing seat bag that you were talking about a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'd look weird on a crescent or anything. Nobody's going to really notice.
No,
bonafide
I don't
crescent,
think
that's weird.
Yeah, well, the 2 great companies. I think it says it's only designed for bonafide seats. So maybe I don't know if their seat tubing is a little bit bigger. We'll try mine on yours just to make sure it fits before you order one.
Well, you can always rig something up too, I'm sure. Like you could probably take those clips off and zip tie it if you need to.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't think it would be a big deal.
Yeah. But other than that, I got my batteries in the front hatch. I cut the front hatch out of my shoalie when I first got it. that was funny too because I posted it in the Crescent owners group and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, somebody actually
Yeah, I
did it."
know. It's like the whole world ended.
They were like, "Holy crap!" So I got like a ton of messages and comments. People were like, "So what'd you do? How'd you do it? Were you scared?" I'm like, "No, I wasn't scared."
Nah, and I started cutting.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I kind of want to cut it up even more because I kind of was conservative on the lip. I went 2 inches on the lip. I probably go half an inch if I really wanted to. But I don't really store anything else in the front hatch other than that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really. Your battery's pretty much the only thing that lives there, because you have your rods, floating on the top. Because Crescent is like the RVR to where you have a strap you can put your rods in and things.
Yeah, that strap's awesome. A rod saver, I love it.
Yeah, currently it holds my net that just lives up there. I get it real tight and put it over there, and I have gone 80 on the highway, and it's been fine. I've put my camera box. I got a Pelican box I use for cameras. I put that up there. It has held that perfect, and it's gonna hold my battery up there. That's where it's gonna end up being.
You know what I would
What?
do if I was you would be to put Velcro on the bottom of your battery and on the thing, and then put it down and then strap it on just for extra.
That's actually what I plan to do. I finally found it. I've been looking for it for like a year and a half, but I finally found I have 3M Marine Velcro.
There you go.
That's waterproof. So I'm going to throw that on the bottom of the battery and on the boat so it has a really good seal. And when that stuff's on there, it doesn't like to ever come off.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll throw that strap over it just for a little bit of extra, just in case the boat flips. It has nowhere to go. But the RVR has no internal storage, so I have accessory plates, which is great, in the front and the rear. So I'll be able to do everything that I need to do. It just has to all live on the boat.
Yeah. That's cool, man. You have your crate in the back, right?
As of right now, yeah. The second I get that underseat storage, the crate's going away.
Yeah, I got you. I don't carry anything in my rear well, so I can't really talk about anything there. I throw my lunchbox in there. That's it.
I'll say you put your lunchbox, you put that big gallon water jug that's back there. I mean, it's more, yours is more utilitarian. Like it's just whatever I need to go back there goes back there on whatever trip it is. Yeah. Which I'm super pumped to get to that. I'm excited to not have anything in that rear well.
It's nice not having anything back there.
I could finally bring a lunch because I don't have to. Half the time I don't bring food and I don't bring like my big jug of water because I have nowhere to put it.
Yep.
So now it just lives there. And when I get ticked off or lure's not doing anything, I just throw it back there and hope it doesn't fall out a scupper hole.
I've had that happen before. Yeah. Hey, remember that time that you threw Jig Master's lure?
Shut up.
The one that you borrowed and it like landed 2 feet short of my kayak and went into the water.
Yeah. And Dale Hollow. Yeah. I felt so bad about that, man.
That was funny.
It was like one of those, like if you're out there just picturing in your head the movies when they throw something and they both look at it as it slowly goes away and they look up at each other. I threw it at him. All I hear is, "Oh no!" And he reaches over and it hits the water. And this is like a ounce jig. And what's crazy, it didn't just like go to the depths of Dale Hollow. It felt like it went super slow because I just watched it. And I looked up at Brad and I was like, "Dude, I'm so sorry."
I think I just laughed.
You did. You weren't mad about it or anything. You just laughed. But
it was kind of funny because you just tossed it. It was just like whoop, whoop.
Yeah, I was so ticked off.
Our luck, like we probably weren't catching anything that day. Our luck was the fish probably hit it on the way down.
We weren't. We were at Star Point, and every MLF boat and their mother was coming through there. And it probably did. It probably went down because we were in like 20 foot of water. It probably got to like 15 foot, and someone was just like, whop, and just ate it. And it was probably a 14-pound smallmouth new world record. It's so stupid. But that was the same day that area had big fish. It might not have been smallmouth and largemouth. That was the same day I was doing that big glide bait, and the monster muskie came up and scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, that was cool. I remember you saying that. You're like, "Oh crap!" I was like, "What?"
Yeah, what? Dude, I've told this story and I love telling it, and I didn't even catch the fish. Fishing this point, I don't know how do you remember how deep it was? It was like 30 foot. I mean, it was decently deep. and I was throwing the big, not the trace, it's
Draw.
the draw. The draw. I was throwing the big draw like 2 weeks after it came out. I ordered one, and I was throwing it out there, and we weren't catching anything that day, so I was like, I'm just gonna throw big swim baits and see if I can find a follower and then follow it back where it's going and throw a Ned rig in or something. And I was throwing it and got within 2 foot of the boat, and I just saw the biggest side. And we have muskie here. I've seen them, I've caught them, and this muskie was giant. And I just saw him like belly wake this bait. And I'm sitting there and I was looking down and I just saw it, looked up, I was like, oh man. And I just yelled, and Brad was like, what? And I was like, big muskie, big fish, big fish. And I started figure eighting, like I stood up and I was figure eighting the bait, and I was sitting down, figure eighting the bait, and I was so annoyed at it. I wish it would have came back and crushed it.
That'd been awesome.
Dude, it was so cool just to see it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to when we're on the boat, I'm pretty sure we both use the same boxes, which are the Plano thins.
I don't know if mine's the thin one, the ultra thin. I think they're just regular.
Yeah. So what I started using, so this is like your standard box, which this is a thin jig box, but it's a little bit thicker. So that's close to your standard box with this side for the 3700.
Yeah.
I have got to the point that I am pretty much solely using this box, which is super thin comparatively.
Yeah,
you see a little bit better this way.
You have the thin one, I don't.
Yeah, and these boxes are the only negative with these Plano thin boxes. They're expensive. This is like $37 per box. It's like,
this is stupid how much they were.
I lucked out, man, because I worked in a fishing department and I got them all out of my discount, and they were ridiculously cheap. But I pretty much solely use the thin boxes. Even the 3600s, I got them all in thins. And it's just so I have a little bit more room to play with and put more stuff. And not have to worry about space really button up or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I use the 3500s regular size, so.
Which is about the same size as like a 3600 thin. I got a little bit more width to deal with, but you have more depth. Yep. So in the situation going down to 4 boxes, I probably would say the normal size would be better because it's meant to fit 4 standard size boxes. So that depth would be nice because I can stack stuff on top of each other, especially crankbaits, things like that.
Yeah, in my box I have the Shower Blows and the Rico Suave stacked on top of each other. I couldn't do that in the thin. And a jerk bait.
No, there's no way. I was about to say, this box is the thin. It's got some miscellaneous top water, and there might be a couple of these that are small enough I could stack, but like a lot of these.
I see your flat sides.
Let me see.
Are those crankbaits?
These are just crankbaits. So these are 6 cents crankbaits, but like these are stacked. These are a little bit larger crankbaits, but they're stacked on top of each other, and like I crush that when I close it. It pushes it down.
That.
And it makes it hard to kind of snap it closed and latch up. Like you have to do it like this and get it there. So the standards would probably be better once I go to this new setup. But we have a winner chicken dinner. One Objective makes those standoffs, and they're through hole line guides.
Huh.
And they're only $25 for a pair. That's money.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I'm about to.
That's cool. But so my box, hard bait box. Well, it's hard bait / jigs / chatterbaits, and then the other
box
is
like, just a plethora of random crap.
Yeah, it's just stuff that like hard baits and jigs that I like to throw in the river, and then I have another box that's full swim baits. So I got Kitex in there. I got the Joshies. Got a bunch of Joshies in there. That's what I like to throw.
Well, you have one box full of Joshies. That's all it is, right? It's just Joshies and some sled heads.
Joshies, sled heads, because that's what I like to throw with them. I got Kitex in there, like I said. I got a couple other baits that I haven't tried yet, but I want to, that I got from Jake Harshman. They're like goby looking things on a Ned rig.
I know what you're talking about. Those little goby looking baits.
I think they're called fit baits. I think maybe FITT.
Maybe I'm not super familiar with them. That's another thing I want to do this year. We're just on all types of tangents. It's mostly just me, but I don't care. That's another thing I want to do this year is really kind of step out and just start. I want to fish nothing but small business baits most of the year. I think that would be cool. You're essentially doing it because pretty much most of your tackle, other than like maybe big Joshies, have been from DarkHorse boxes. I've been more hesitant. I've been using them, but I've been more hesitant to kind of leave my Mega Bass JDM stuff. And I think this year's the year I'm going to do it.
Hey, dude, use it all. But like I said, like when we were talking to Zach from Dark Horse, like I'm stocked up on a bunch of stuff, like a bunch of small business baits. I kind of dig it, except for my soft plastics, which I forgot to mention that. I don't bring it out on the river with me, but when I'm on the lake or something, I have like this real deep. It's like 3 or 4 inches deep. It's a 3,700 box. There's no dividers in it or anything. I could throw all my soft plastic bags in there and close the lid. I'm good to go. So if I need anything, just reach through there, and it's kind of like, stacked on top of each other from front to back.
Yeah.
So you just look through it like a little file cabinet.
I'm gonna show you. You remember when I first started kayak fishing and I brought out that box of plastics?
Maybe. I'll probably know I see it.
So this is what I used to put underneath my seat of my RS.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This big thing of plastics. And I'll be honest, man, I haven't been in here in a long time. Like, it's got a bunch of Nico stuff, some Joshies that we're just talking about. It's got a bunch of stuff.
You can there they are. An awesome river box.
There we are. Yeah, the black and blue bitters, man.
Nice.
I've been looking for those to go back on my jackhammer.
Yeah. Well, bitter swim baits. Guys, check the bitter swim baits out. Those are some. I killed it in largemouth pre-spawn on the bitter swim bait this year.
Oh yeah, dude, you were catching fish left and right on that bitters.
On the underspin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fun, dude. Love it.
Oh yeah. Well, we've covered. The only last thing I'm going to cover is spinner baits, because spinner baits are one of those baits that can be a pain in the butt just to kind of bring with you, because you're either getting a box. I thought I had a box down here that was my spinnerbait box, but I think it's in the truck actually, which is not surprising. But I use the Plano spinnerbait folder. I thought I had one of those down here too, but it's probably in the truck too. But it is basically it's the guide series. It has multiple sheets in it that you can put spinnerbaits in, and it folds down. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like a not portfolio, but
accordion,
kind of spinnerbait. It's like an organizer. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up.
So it's funny you mentioned this because I found one when I went to Cabela's recently, and I'm gonna buy it.
Are you?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be the perfect. It's exactly what I've been looking for spinnerbaits.
Here it is. I found it. Well, look that up while I'm showing. Okay,
I got
it. Good.
Is that what you're looking at?
That one's a utility binder from Bass Pro, and that one's sick. Like, I kind of want one of those.
Yeah, it's like a hard
bit smaller. Mm-hmm.
And it's small.
It's a little bit smaller than what I have. If you want to show that off a little bit, we can, and then I'll show what the one I was talking about.
Yeah, so
and that's kind of why I like it. Is that first little? I was trying to show with my cursor, but I'm not on it. But that first little pocket would be perfect just to put leader line in there, so it's another thing I don't have to reach behind me to get.
Yeah. But this thing, the reason why I want this thing is to store all my spinnerbaits in it, because I fish spinnerbaits a lot, and it'd be nice to have more than one or two options with me, because like you said, spinnerbaits are hard to store and transport and stuff. Like Plano makes that big square rectangular spinnerbait box. I had one, I hated it.
Yeah.
So you need something that's collapsible and flat. And this would do.
Yeah, the spinnerbait box is super bulky. Like, it's good at organizing all your spinnerbaits, but that was designed for someone on a boat. It was not designed for anybody in kayak or even anyone bank fishing, because it's not as wide as everything else. It's thin, but it's super deep for like a full size half-ounce spinnerbait to fit in. This is what I currently use, and I mean, I like it. It's nice. It's a little bit bigger, but it's this box right, or this thing, and it's got multiple pouches and pockets, so you can get 2 spinner baits for, well, you can get more than 2, whatever you can fit in there. I've got 3 and a couple, but you have, if you want to do 1 per, there's 17 or 18 sheets of this in there, and you can put 1 spinner bait on each side, double-sided to this.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So you can bring a ton of spinner baits out with you if you really wanted to. It's not super big, like it's tall, but it's really thin. Which you can see even open, like that's when that's closed, it's still super thin. It fits just about perfect in anywhere that was designed for a like Plano box or something on the side of a boat, or down in a cubby or right next to your seat. It fits out there fine. And it's easy just to kind of run through. Now that Bass Pro little hard case, that's pretty nice, just for the fact that it's smaller and it's perfectly square, and it's hard, so it's not going to want to like fold over on itself. That's the only thing I find this one likes to do.
Yeah. Yours is like less than a size of a piece of paper.
Yeah, I mean it's super thin. Or not thin, sorry, it's super, like it's like an 8x11. That's pretty much the height of it, and then it's probably, I don't know, maybe the size of like a 300-page book. Like it's
Harry
not
Potter
super.
book?
It's not like, no, those are way longer.
Depends on which one.
Well, that's true, but I would say it's about that big. So Brad's super used to this size and distance.
It is. Let me get my magnifying glass out.
Oh Lord God!
Every time I use the bathroom,
got to go on a scavenger hunt. Anyway, I would say it's about 1.5 inches, maybe if I really stuffed everything into it, it'd be 2 inches wide. So it fits everywhere. It's not super bulky.
she said.
Shut up. And it it's a nice thing. Now it's $34.99. It's a little pricey for what it is, because there's a lot of companies, third-party companies. Be honest, whenever you pay for anything that says Plano on it, you're paying like $10 just for the name. They do make really nice stuff, but it's expensive. But I guess you get what you pay for. But yeah, I mean, we could really go deep dive into all the different style of boxes we use for terminal and all that stuff, but they're out there. If you type in terminal box, we probably used it or are using it. I use the Plano terminal box. You just use a box. So
I have the Calcos Battle Box.
I had that box too, and I don't use it anymore because it's too big.
Yeah, it's too big for the kayak.
It's monstrous, dude. Again, on a boat, I'd have 4 of them and be done. Like when I still have my boat, that's where all my terminal would be in, because it comes with those little medicine tubes, and it's awesome for organization, but it's just huge.
That's the last thing I can hit on real quick. So I only keep that in my crate when I'm fishing the lakes. But if there's stuff that I want to bring with me to the river, like my Ned rig hooks, EWG hooks for a fluke or something like that, I'll take the separate tubes out and just throw it in the Yak Gadget bag.
Yeah, so I was doing that too, but then I got to the point, I don't know, it was bugging me, especially because it's behind the seat. So I'm having to like reach in there and feel 4 different tubes and pull a tube and be like, oh, wrong one. Put it back in there. Oh, that's the same one I just pulled out. Put it back. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the P127, when I'm on lakes, I'm the same way. I'll bring that box because it fits underneath the seat fine. I just leave it there. I can pull it out, pop it open, and I have them all labeled so I can see what I'm grabbing.
So I've always wanted to work with John Thomas at Yak Gadget to do like a river specific crate for this reason, and have it to where it's like different from his boxes he has now, but have like a foam insert with holes cut out, like 8 holes across the front, the size of those tubes, where you can just slide them in.
That would be sick.
That would be sweet.
That would be sweet. Yeah, that would be sick. You need to text him like right after the show.
Well, I did before, and he never texted me back. So
he's a busy man.
Yeah,
he's a busy man.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Like I have ideas for like a river specific crate and stuff too. Like there's a market for that.
There's a huge market for that because a lot of your kayak guys, I mean, granted, kayaking has exploded on what everyone's using it for, but a ton of your kayak guys are still just river rats. That's what most of us are. I mean, I don't go on lakes that often anymore. The biggest lake you and me go on typically is either a trip once a year or to a lake that's a puddle. I mean, it's not big.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're river rats. We were already talking like we're not. Lakes are cool, but we're probably not going to go on another lake trip. We're going to be starting to go around our surrounding states and go on some rivers. So
yeah, that sounds fun, man. We need to do that.
I'm excited. Oh, we're doing it. But thanks for listening to us, everybody. I appreciate if you made it all the way to the end. Another shout out again to DarkHorse Tackle, sponsor of the show. Use Final Cast 5 off to get $5 off your first monthly subscription box to the Weekend Warrior box, which is the best subscription box. We do unboxings. Feel free to go back, look at those. And like always, we're on Instagram, Brad Hicks Fishing, Matt Souders Fishing. Any questions or anything like that, or any show suggestions, anything you want to hear, feel free, hit us up, shoot us a message, and tight lines.
Peace.